Hey guys, Stealth here. Welcome back to From the Depths, where today we're going to be adding a few new missile systems slash torpedo systems to this boat. First things first, I'm going to disable or just deconstruct the whole self-exploding raft. It's not something that I really want to continue to use because they're highly unpredictable and especially quite valuable in their use. So I'm going to scrap this thing and just take up all the resources back onto Seawolf. Now, a mod that I have installed but haven't quite tested yet is the missile expansion mod. This one adds a few different types of launchers. We have the missile pod launcher. This one adds a couple of quad stacks, very small missiles, potentially good for anti-air. You also have the quad rack launcher. As you can see, these are uncovered. Next up, we have the single rack launcher, slightly larger I believe, but pretty similar in their explosive power to the standard weapons that we have now. And then the weapon that I want to start testing, the large launcher. This thing really deserves its name. I mean, this is the size of the missile. I have no idea how much explosive power that thing holds. I have no idea how deadly it's going to be. That's what I'm going to try out in this episode. I'm not going to have this thing controlled by AI. I find that a bit tricky and a bit too risky. I want to completely follow it myself. Now, let's see. We're going to have a couple of fins on the back. These things are ginormous if you see them in the water, so it's going to require probably 2 torpedo propellers. These things have a lot of fuel on board. Really, they can do with 1 fuel tank. A regulator, I want a ballast tank, which is set to float depth 5. Next, we have the magnet, then a couple of explosive warheads. And on the nose, we're going. Actually, we need a target prediction guidance right there. And on the nose, we're going to have a torpedo sonar. There. Now, this thing at the moment is causing a lot of drag, of course. It's not something that we can actually rely upon for making our stealth or our submarine a little bit more stealthy, but the whole point here is to just try this thing out. I have no idea if an ejector add-on works on this thing. It doesn't say it's connected. Yep, now it's connected. Okay, so we can have multiple connectors, or sorry, ejectors on this thing. Now, all that we need is a target, but let me just show you what this thing does. It's a very large warhead. It carries currently 18,000 points of fuel. It's not really looking for anything at the moment, or at least it's not likely to find anything. But it is, I believe, 4 times the size of a standard torpedo. And I'm not sure exactly what that's going to do for the explosive power. So we're going to need a volunteer of sorts. Anyway, while we are waiting for a target, I'm going to do something about my resource gathering mechanic. Or if that's a term you want to use. We're gonna dislodge that whole periscope thing and instead go for a resource gatherer that we can have mounted. Let's see, where's my cargo bay? Here's my cargo bay. We can have it mounted on a vertical tractor beam, as one of you guys pointed out, which I think is a very good idea. Just need to find enough room for this thing to fit. That's actually... Why won't you fit? This is weird. Where is the connector? It should be right here. This is the AI section. It might just be slightly... yeah, it's too tall. That's the problem. It's too tall. Can we hide it in the fin? This, I believe, is my control section. So I'm not that likely to want to hide it there. I could hide it in the stern. Sort of. Torpedoes? Or the torpedo section? Yeah, we have room here. This should do. Miscellaneous items. We need a docking station. Oh, come on. Ah, there we go. Right. Now we're going to build a new object. Just a simple vehicle. We're going to quickly grab hold of that thing using the tractor beam before it manages to sneak away. Select on. And where are you being built? There you are. It's a little bit sideways. Anyway, this is going to be a very, very small block, or a very small construction unit. It's just going to have a couple of... oh, there we go, stabilized. We're just going to have a couple of resource gatherers on there to allow me to just raise this thing above the surface when I need to and start gathering resources. That's all. Resources, resource gatherers. Of course, this is messing up the whole stability of the block itself. Come on, one more. Alright, so that should do. What I want to do now is try and set this thing up to a complex controller. And the plan here is to allow the complex controller to just levitate the tractor beam distance up and down. I'm just not sure if that works, because I cannot have any complex controls on here. Maybe with an ACB? Could that interact with it? Docking stations. No, it's not undock per se, it's just... I need a bit more range on it. Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to do that manually then. Anyway, let's set the whole distance to 100. There it is, high above us. So now we can mine from, I'd say, a depth of about maybe 90 meters. That should do. For now, come back in, 20 meters. That's a bit much. How low can we go before it starts to clip through the hull? That's too much. 12? 12, that's fine. Okay, I hope it works like this. I'm not exactly sure. I think it will. And through it, it shouldn't need any power. That's the plan anyways. Now let's have a look and see if there are any resource zones nearby. Of course there aren't. That's a red gate, that's a green gate. Resource zones not found. Well, that's nice. I'm not sure where we... Actually, here's one. Seawolf.
Moving now.
Get over there. And hopefully that's going to work. Let's rename this thing. Force name, miner. I still need a willing victim. I still need something. Let's see. Seawolf. I need it to not fire. Fine. I'll manually steer her towards that resource zone. Because that went so well previous. Alright, increase speed to full. Right, so we have our resource gatherer. Virginia is probably creating... No, actually it's not Virginia. I'm blaming Virginia for pulling my boat starboard, but it's probably the external missile launch that we just added. That Magnum type torpedo. So I'm going to have to probably keep correcting its course manually. So be it. Now, where's the resource zone? There. Oh, this is going to be a hassle. Okay, turn to patrol mode. You got control until we have a target. Because I do not want my torpedoes nor my anti-air missiles to start firing at something. Oh, hello. I want the Magnum Torp to do that. Let's see, we're looking at west, southwest. So there should be something over here. There. A stalwart. Now, one thing I haven't added yet is a one-turn, which in this case is a pretty useful invention. Utility... Targeting? Targeting, one turn. Right, torpedo tube 5. Target stalwart. Off you go. It's coming about. Look at the turning speed of this thing. Maximum turning rate 11. And now the question is, does... Yep, it has detected it. At a range of 6.5 clicks. That's probably too far away for this thing, judging by how quickly it consumes fuel. So we're probably going to have to exchange one torpedo propeller for one fuel tank. And I think that that should do it. Still, it's 6 clicks. I don't even know if my standard torpedoes can do that. Yeah, let's go with the fuel tank. Rearming these things, by the way, takes a long time, as well as a lot of resources. There's the torpedo, moving off towards southwest. So it has acquired the target, and we're going to send up another one. Aiming via the one turn, albeit slowly. Maximum turn rate 9. But this thing has 37,000 points of fuel. So he should be able to get there. It's just gonna take him... Oh, I don't know. 5 minutes, if that. In the meanwhile, we're getting close to the resource zone, so it's time to start leveling this boat out at about 90. Something like that should do. Maybe a little less, 87. We're shedding depth quickly, as expected. This thing is still 6.5 kilometers away. I have the resources, so I'm going to set up another one for testing purposes. And I know this is not anywhere near what it's probably going to be in the final version of it. I'm just testing how these things work. What kind of explosive power I can get out of them. So we're going to make this one a surface missile. For that I'm going to have some ejector add-ons. Not connected, of course. Just to give that thing a little extra nudge. IFF on it. And this one is going to be slot... I think we haven't used 4 yet. Yep, 4 is good. Okay, that's the starboard torpedo, that's the actual torpedo. This is the anti or the aerial... Well, it doesn't need to be an aerial target, it can just be a surface unit. Let's set it up as an active radar seeker. Propulsion, 2 fins in the back, 2 fuel, well, maybe even 3 fuel tanks. It's not too bad. A variable thruster set to 600. For some reason the game really does not like 600. There. Next, we need the targeting. So a target prediction unit. I need a 1 turn. No, not 2 of them. Warheads. Actually, we can go with fragmentation. Frag warheads. And of course I need to set these things up. No, actually, firing cone angle looks good. Yeah, that looks alright. Okay, so we can hold on to that. Right. We are getting closer to the resource zone. Depth is minus 69, so that's all working out. Where's my torpedo? Still 4,000 meters out. Yeah, I don't think the stalwart is doing much. It's probably just floating around. There. Doesn't even know what's coming for it. No, I for one cannot even see the actually, is that it? That's it, that's the torpedo, right there. Still plowing through the water. I hope it's not going to time out. That would be annoying if this thing times out, just because it does not have enough regulators on. So far it's already, well, it hasn't quite been swimming for 5.5 clicks, but it's close, because of course we've also been moving in the opposite direction. So it moved, let's say, about 4.5 kilometers, and it still has 17,000 points of fuel left. Range to target, little under 3,200 meters. It's not the fastest torpedo I've ever seen, it's 17 meters per second, but it works. And I wonder how much damage it's going to do. Now, we are very, very quickly traversing through the resource zone. Way too quickly if you ask me, so now we have to reverse. And reversing in a submarine, not a good idea. Especially not in this one. Because it completely throws propulsion and balance out of whack. Now, let's go to the forward tractor section. Here. And set it to hold distance maximum. It's vertical. There. Torpedo. Distance 2,000 meters. I may need to set this thing up so it gets energy. I'm not sure if it works. Let's see if it works without giving it any energy. Are we above surface level yet? We are, and it's not doing anything. Okay, so we need to fix that. Build on this platform. No, that's repairs. There. Where is it? I don't even know what's up and down anymore. This looks okay. There you are. Right, so we need to make sure that this thing has power. For that, I'm going to go with a little bit of room for it. So let's go with something like that. And then we're going to have a couple of batteries on it. So that's resources. Maybe some storage beams would do. Actually, how about doing it like that? One storage beam. One electric engine. Which really does not want to cooperate today. Yep, it's generating power, and the battery does have power. It's currently not getting any power though. Or actually the miners aren't working because I'm outside the resource zone. Now before we miss it, let's see where my torpedo is at. I wouldn't be surprised if it's no longer with us at this point. What the hell is that? No idea. Where is the target? There's the target. The target looks perfectly alright, and I think my missile ran out of fuel. Or my torpedo, rather. So, we need to make a course correction and head into the resource zone. I'm going to disconnect Virginia to make it a bit easier. I wonder how much range that surface target, or that surface missile is going to have. While we're still making a course correction, let's prepare to send up the missile. Also, our depth is too great. We're at minus 107. So we need to get a little closer to the surface, otherwise we won't be able to have the miner operational. Bit more. Depth, minus 98, 97. Slow down. 95. Right. Missile away. Forward velocity. Minus, or 2 meters per second. Fuel, 58,000, or a little under. Of course, this thing has, in its current shape, no way of getting out of the water. Yeah, I should have thought of that. It's going to need a ballast tank. And a negative ballast tank at that. Buoyancy, 5. I'm also going to give it 1 torpedo propeller. Just to make sure that this thing can actually get towards the surface a bit faster. Talking of surface, we're doing minus 85, 80, 75. A little closer. How much do we have? 1600, give or take a few. You can see the resource block, I believe. Yep, it's floating right there. Oh, hang on, it does not have any resource blocks. Or any storage blocks, that might be a problem. That might be a problem. Right, so we're gonna have to add some material storages. There we go. Now it's working. Now we can set it up so that it immediately transfers out all the resources towards me. The miner is not supposed to have any materials on board. We're gathering pretty quickly. And we actually need to do a full stop here. I just don't quite know what that's going to do with my stability. For now we're still mining, so that's good. But we have a good risk of running out, like getting too far away. Anyway, let's retry that. Whoa. What the hell was that? It's trying to get out of the water. Yep, it worked. Forward velocity 20 meters per second. And it's churning through a lot of fuel very quickly. No surprise, because it has quite a lot of drag. Now, again, we just need more targets. Shit, we're drifting out again. We need more stuff to hit to see how effective those missiles are going to be. Or torpedoes, if you will. I'm probably going to have to turn this thing into something detachable. Just to make sure it actually keeps above surface level to mine. Because right now it's not quite doing that. Maybe a simple spin block will do the trick. That might be enough. Alright, we are on the surface. There you are. Okay. It's been a while since I used these things. Oh, what was it again? Spin block, turn block. There. Now we need to add... Where are they? Air units. It really has been a while. Helicopter blades? No. We need one block first, probably. There. Now we can add helicopter blades. Yep. Okay. Not sure if this is the right way of doing it. One, two, three, four, five. We can set this spin block to always up, I believe. Oh, where was that? Helicopter blade. Ah, that's the one. Goodbye. Yes, as you can tell, not too experienced in working with aerial units whatsoever. Right, so, a dedicated heliblock spinner. Like that. And now we need the heliblade extensions. Could you just turn? There. 2, 3, 4, 5. Leading edge needs to be on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Always up fraction 100. And we need to set that thing to continuous motion. Motor drive, no, not so much. Let's add a control block. An ACB. If this thing detects that it's above sea level, I want it to start moving. So if altitude is greater than none, set your spin blocks to full power. Yeah, that didn't quite work. What am I not doing right? Set rotation speed to that. Aha, there we go. Alright, good. The question is, will this thing have enough power to keep doing that? For now, sorta. But I think that it's also generating... Actually, it's not set to the motor drive. That's the thing. Disconnect. Yeah, it needs an AI. Bloody hell. Okay. Let's bring this thing in for now. There you are. Next ACB. Oh, we need to build on this platform. Build on this force. We need a second ACB that turns it off. If the altitude is less than 0, set your spin blocks to do nothing. Set rotation speed to nothing. There we go. Oh, and this needs to be input, let's say 2 meters. That's when I'm releasing it. Right, now we need an AI. It's going to be a very, very small one. AI, detection equipment, no, it doesn't need to detect anything. It just needs to be an aerial AI. Ah, need a card slot, yes, of course. Aerial AI. I cannot imagine there are not people shaking their heads in despair, like what the hell are you doing now? Propulsion balancing, insofar as it needs that. Okay. Let's set it free and see if it works. Minor, undock. I need you to go over there.
Control yours. Moving out.
What is it doing? It's floating to the surface. That's fine. How much room does it have? 4,000. That's much more than I need. Eventually it'll surface. Yeah, close. But of course now the Spinblock controller, or the which one is it? The control block is set up wrong. Because now it won't start. There. Why won't you spin? Probably because the other one's countermanding it. Come on, where are you? That's the one. Altitude is less than... negative. Less than minus 15. So technically... where the hell is it now? Why is it down there? It should be on the surface at this point. That's me. Is it working? Yeah, it's working. Sorta. Altitude's going up constantly, but it's not doing anything else. Close enough. Me and flying units, not a good match.
Listening. Moving out.
No, it's trying to move there, but it probably simply doesn't have the maneuverability. Because it cannot tilt the rotor blades. I think. Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna need you guys' help. If you have a way of making this thing actually feasible, so that it actually gathers resources, please let me know in the comments either how to do it or build me one. Because I generally hate using these things, and for the amount of time that I think that we've spent on building these things versus the potential reward, I mean, this is what? A little over 1,000, 600 resources, that's it. The time invested is getting a little high, as far as I'm concerned. It needs to be lower, it needs to be easier. And in the next episode we're going to go after this stalwart. I'm going to hit that thing with one of our new torpedoes. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm very curious to see what these new tubes are going to do, especially to a target. But we'll just have to wait. We'll just have to see about that next episode. For now, thank you for watching. I'll see you soon for more.